Hello and welcome to Judy's Creations in Crochet. And today is November the 9th, I believe, 2023. And I want to welcome all of you to my channel. And if you're new, I hope you like what you see and come back again. I love to hear from all my followers, so please leave a thumbs up for me and particularly leave a comment. I love hearing your comments, and hopefully if you're new, you'll subscribe and come back for more information. I am mostly about finished objects, items I am working on, and yarn, particularly hand-dyed yarn. As you can see, I have quite a collection there. That is just Expression Fiber Arts yarn. I have lots of other hand-dyed yarn, and I like to share it with you, and I hope you enjoy the same. So I'm not really sure where I'm going today. We'll start with what I'm wearing. I always start there. And this is something you've seen many, many times now. I find it, I enjoy putting it on, and I can put it on over just about any color. It is a poncho for those that haven't seen it before, and it's just freestyle as I felt like putting in a row. I can't see it too well, but as I felt like putting in an open row, I did. Otherwise, it's just double crochets, and it's done with a yarn from Stenley. I think it's called their Souffle Luxe, and I've made a number of ponchos similar to this in the gradient cakes, but this one I really like because of all of those sparkles. I just find it so pretty. So it goes with a lot. So that's what I am wearing. And I have what I would consider to be a finished object, but now it's not a finished object. You can see over here, this is from another Stenley cake. And it was just red on the dark red on the outside and worked into a lighter red in the center. And once again, it's just free form. Every now and then I would leave open lace work. And I got to a point where I was getting tired of it. So I decided I was done. And here's the Stenley wrapper that I took off of it. It has 1,000 meters in it, and it is 90% soft cotton and 10% Lurex, and it's their cotton star cake. And I thought it'd be very pretty for Christmas, and I actually was making it for myself to wear to my craft show. And by the way, my craft show is not this Saturday, but a week from Saturday. So next week I'll talk a little bit more about that. And I had this much left over. Now, this is, I think, a 270 gram cake, and I have about 55 grams left. So 1/5 or 20%, which means it's really close to 200 meters in it yet. You know what? I put it on the mannequin, and it doesn't look as big as the last one I did. So I'm thinking when I finish what I'm working on, I'll go back and I'll add a little more to it. It's not a hard thing to just attach from where I left off, which would be the middle, although it looks like the same color all the way. But I'm pretty sure the middle is where I could pick it up. So I think I'm going to go back and add a little more to it. It's okay, I guess, but I think I will add a little bit more to it. Now, before I go on with my works in progress, I think I'll insert here the slideshow that some of you are watching for. I put out a challenge last month because October is called Socktober month, and I have never made socks. And I've been thinking lately maybe I should, but I never have. And I thought maybe this would be the perfect time to make socks. So I'm going to make some socks in the month of October. And I put out a challenge to any of you, particularly that had never made socks, to take this opportunity this particular month to make some socks. And I did get some people that took me up on the challenge, and I said, send me pictures and I'll do a slideshow. Now, this will not be a long slideshow because I only had 5 people respond to the challenge. And I said, I'd be happy to see socks from those of you that always make socks and make a pair in Socktober and send me some. But all of the people I think are first time. So I'm going to do a slideshow. Again, I'm going to split the screen and I will tell you a little more about the socks that people sent me. So first, I'm just going to flash up here the pair. I think I showed them to you last week as well. And that's the pair I made. And they are tube socks. And I'm going to say more about them later on in this video. Then we have a pair of socks from Bonnie, and for those that are with me a while, you know Bonnie lives here in town, and she made socks for the first time, and she said she got the pattern on Pinterest, and she did have to frog a number of times, and she said she had to eventually use her own common sense to finish. The problem was in the heel, and she thinks there was a mistake in the pattern. And she used Barocco Comfort sock, and she is happy with the fit of the sock. She's trying it on constantly, but says she's not particularly happy with the texture. Next, we have Deb M, who lives in Arizona, and I believe this is the first time for Deb to make socks too, and she also made tube socks. And in fact, it was her telling me she was going to make tube socks that gave me the idea to make tube socks as my first venture into socks. Then Josephine took up the challenge. Josephine lives in North Carolina, and she sent me a picture somewhat early on, maybe middle of the month, of a pair of socks that she made. And she used Lion Brand Sock Ease, and the pattern was from a booklet of socks from Annie's. Remember Annie's Attic? Well, I think it's almost that old of a book. And she said that she made an adjustment in the cuff and did it without the bobbles that it called for. And when she sent me that picture, she said she was working on, I believe, some watermelon socks. You'll know what I mean by watermelon in a minute. And she hoped that she would have them done by the end of the month. Then I received an email from her, and she had 3 pairs of socks. And she said that she had tried socks once in the past. I guess she never finished them because when she was looking through her stash for sock yarn, she came across a whip, what I would call a UFO. And she said that she has now picked up the sock making bug because she pulled those out and she finished them up and went on to make more. So you see, I think she mentioned 2 of them being toe-up. I'm thinking they were all toe-up socks. And you'll see the one pair that is a watermelon sock. And that's one of those fruit prints from Premier. They do Premier, I don't know if they call it Premier sock yarn, but anyway, you know, if you make it right, you get this fruit pattern. And so that's the watermelon pair that she had been worked on. So she said she was really glad for the challenge. She thanked me for it because she found that she really enjoys making socks. And I'm glad to hear that, Josephine, because that's the exact opposite of my experience learning to make socks. And next from Kathy, who also lives here in Ontario, she also made watermelon socks. In other words, she used that same yarn that is supposed to make it look like watermelon. She said this is a toe up construction as well. And she used a pattern called Kids Crochet Socks by Premier Yarn. Now, for her, this again was the first time making socks. And she said she was really grateful for the challenge because she has had it on her to-do list for a while. I guess she was meant to do it last year and never did. And so she thinks that stitching along with others was sort of the incentive that made her actually make a pair of socks, and she was glad to have done it. Didn't say she enjoyed it or not, or she was going to make more, but anyway, she was happy that I had issued the challenge. And then the last socks I'm going to show you are from Raylene, who lives in South Australia. And again, first time making socks. I'll talk about that in a minute. She made these 2 pairs of tube socks, and they are from a tutorial from Llama Mama Kayla. I'm guessing that's a YouTube channel, and they are called the Halloween tube socks, I believe she said. And after she made them, she said her daughter really loved them, and she took a pair, and her girlfriend liked them, and she has decided, first time making them, and she's going to make more. She's planning to make some as Christmas presents. So good for you, Raylene. And she also commented, and this might be good information for those of you that are new to socks. You can buy these silicone dots or lines that you can, they're sticky, I guess, or maybe you have to glue them on. I just know I've heard of them, but not ever seen or used them. You can buy dots to put on the bottom of the socks. I'm sure you've bought store-bought socks with those big sort of silicone dots on the bottom to keep from sliding, because any of these would be slippery, I'm sure, on maybe hardwood floors or laminate floors or vinyl floors. So she did mention that. So I want to thank all of you for meeting my challenge. I appreciated you participating and showing me the socks that you made. Now I'm going to tell you what's going on with my socks, but I have to back up first. You know how it is when you're busy stitching away, you have thoughts about other things you're going to make. And I was just finishing this red poncho and thinking about what I was going to do next, and deciding I'm going to make a shawl for our donation box, because we only have about a month before we have to see that that box gets to where it's going. And what I really got thinking about is the Colorama Halo Ogos that I have. And I already made one shawl out of it, and I know from having made a shawl out of, it wasn't this exact color, but it was another color of blue, that one Ogo is not big enough for a shawl. It has only 481 yards. So I need about another half to 3/4, probably 3/4. I want to make a nice size shawl of one of these. And it only goes in one direction. It starts here and it unravels very nicely, very neatly this way around. Well, if I start here and go this way around, and I'm only going to use about 3/4 of it, I would do all this white again and get here. And in the last one I made, I decided that I really wanted, when I got to the end in dark, I wanted to start at the dark and go the other way around. And it would be a really nice fade in and fade out. But you can't start at this end. So the last time I made one of these, I did it all the way around. Then I opened my second one, because I have two of each of the colors I bought. I opened my second one and I made a scarf, and I went quite a ways around, about that far around, made a scarf. Maybe I even went farther. And then I used this at the end of my shawl. And that was fine, but I know that every time I go to make a shawl for my donation box, I'm probably not going to want to make a scarf. And so I'm thinking to myself, what am I going to do about this? I don't want to always be making scarves, and if I want the darker end, I gotta unravel the whole thing, and then what? And I don't know why, but it popped into my head that, you know what? I think I want to make some headbands. That'd be an easy thing to make. I can make a headband in an evening, no problem. And I could make a number of those, and they would be a nice item to add to my booth at this craft show. So I got out one of these to see how much it would take to make a headband. Well, it doesn't take very much. And here is the headband I made. And I made the type where you go all the way around and then you do that special join, how you put the two in together. I'm not going to try to explain it here. And it crisscrosses. And that was fine, except when it pulled, you could see the seam on the back showing. So I had to tack it down so that it wouldn't show. But anyway, I thought, oh, wow, that's nice. I made a headband. I can probably make 3 headbands and use up this. So the first Ogo, what I did was, after making the headband, you can see it's sort of starting to change color. I did it the long way around. And so it gradually changes color as you work up. See how it's a little bit blue there? Well, anyway, I didn't want to make another one of those right away. And I decided that what I would do is I would cake this up. So, and it comes off quite easy. You have to hold it securely. But I then made the rest of the Ogo into 2 cakes. And what I have decided I am going to do is I'm going to start on the outside of this cake. Yeah, I think I'll start on the outside of this cake, and I'm going to make a shawl, and that means I have to go into this other cake, and there's going to be some light in the center. There's going to be more light than I really want. So I might stop before I get to the end of it. And then I might make a headband out of the first part of this one. And then I'll be at the light, and I'll start at the light and work back out to the dark. So the shawl will be dark to light to dark. And I will fairly soon make a shawl out of this. It might be January, but it won't get done in time for this next box that we're taking to them. We almost have enough. So that's what I decided I would do with this one when I made this headband. Now, I'm not done about headbands, but I just want to show you that I had the 2 different blues, and I have pink and purple and sort of teal or aqua. Well, it turns out that the pink isn't white at the center, which I was glad of. The purple and the teal are. But this one is light pink. So I'm going to make probably a headband out of the first part of the pink. And I'm thinking I will cake it again like I did the blue one and start at the dark. And I'm going to do the dark as far as I can go around. And then with the second one, I'll put light to light and go, and I'll leave some dark, and I'll do a dark headband. So I'll have 1 light and 1 dark headband. Oh, that'll be next year. I won't be doing all of these Ogos before the end of the year, and definitely not in time for my craft show. But that's what I'm going to do with this one. And I have to tell you, I'm really, really glad that they decided to stop making those Ogo shapes. I don't know why they make them. They're harder to store and everything. This year, their Colorama Halo is in a cake. I don't have any yet. I went to get some, and my source for them was, actually I have two sources, and there was only one cake. I need two, so I'm only going to buy them when I can get two of a color that I want. I don't like all of the new colors, but there are a couple I do like, and I will get some more. Thank goodness they're in cakes. I can start in the center or start on the outside. So, but anyway, I got started on headbands, and I thought, this is a nice quick project. So I went and looked up headband patterns, and I saw quite a few on YouTube that I liked. And the one thing I noticed that I really, really liked, I'm going to get all twisted up here, was that I saw somebody made one with a hair tie. So these are the ponytail ties. They're stretchy, and that way you can make them nice and snug. But somebody that I have a small head, so for me to try them on isn't really good. My girlfriend came, she has a bigger head and a lot of hair, so she tried them on, and that helped me decide on the first one I made. But I'll tell you about this yarn in just a minute. But I decided that I would make them around these hair ties, and then they can give a little if somebody has a bigger head than I do, or a lot of hair, or whatever. So I made this one next, and I'll talk about the yarn in just a second. I made a second one, but this one seems more stretchy, so I'm waiting to finish it when my girlfriend comes to try it on. So these two, this was a very plain double crochet or half double crochet. And this is double crochet with, can you see it? I put cross double crochets every other row. So cross double crochet, single crochet, and so on. Didn't use a pattern. And these are all Divina from Hobbii. I haven't made any out of this color yet. This is, oh, that washed out. This is a fairly dark gray. It doesn't look near as dark as it really is. Okay, maybe that looks closer. This is a dark gray, and I have the light gray, and I have this burgundy maroon color. And I may make a second one of each of these. I'm sure I can make a second one from the ball, possibly a third. Now let's look at it. It is, here's the tag. It's 65% baby alpaca, 25 polyamide, and 10% merino wool. That is the tag on it. And it has 164 yards. Probably I can only get 2 out of one of these, and I'll have leftover. I wonder if I want to put them together. We'll think about that. But I do have these 2 as well as this one. I just may make one more out of this material. It's so soft and fuzzy. And then I thought, well, what else do I have in leftovers? I might as well go see if I have some big leftovers. Well, you remember about 2 weeks ago, I showed you I made a poncho out of Scarfie yarn. Scarfie, a nice big poncho with a stand-up collar. And that's Lion Brand Scarfie. Well, I decided, and I tried a different pattern, I decided to make a headband out of it. And this one I joined, and then I made another little band that I wrapped around it to hide the seam, and it gives it a little bit of a decorative look. And so I made it, and I'm quite sure I have enough to make another one to finish off this ball. And who knows, maybe somebody will buy that poncho and one of these. So I am going to make another one later this week out of this yarn. And finally, I made one more, and this is what I decided to do. I decided I probably would never wear those socks I made, and it was kind of pretty. So this is what I decided to do. I decided to frog the socks. I've only pulled out the top. I should have brought the sock down and showed you the small amount I used. I took the yarn and I put it with the white latte. You know, everybody sent me that latte yarn in the fall. I absolutely love it, and I have lots of it now. So I put together one strand of my socks and one strand of white latte, makes a really nice, soft, textured headband. And again, I used this version like this. But I'm probably going to make another one like this. And maybe I'll try a different person's tutorial for this style because it is easy, and see if I'm doing something wrong here that shows. Like when it pulled, the seam came up. If I didn't tack it, you'd be seeing the inside seam. But I might make more like that as well. So I have made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 headbands this week. And I still have a little over a week before I made all of these on the weekend. So I'm sure I can make another 4 or 5 headbands before I go to the craft show. And I think that might be a good item to have as an easy sale. So that's what I've been doing this week. I've been working forever on this, more than a week on that one, plus the headbands. And I started, where did I put it? I guess I didn't bring it down to show you. I'll have to show you next week. It'll be finished next week. I started another shawl. It's a shawl using Scarfy Light. I've used it before. I showed you one finished in a rose color. I'm now working with blue and brown, and I'll have it finished to be able to show you next week. So that's the work in progress for this coming week. Now, I want to tell you about this. I bought these in the summer. I had heard about these twist and lock hooks. I don't know if any of you had tried them, but they were from Susan Bates. Susan Bates twist and lock hooks. Have any of you seen these? I saw them on Amazon and I thought, oh, that doesn't look too expensive. And you can lock the hooks into the grip handle. And I thought I might try it for a bigger handle. Well, this is what I ordered. And I didn't realize what I was ordering at the time. When I got it, I was a little bit miffed to find that it only came with the 2 hooks and this piece. And this piece is a cutter. So it's a nice accessory to have nearby. But, I mean, I have my scissors as close as I would have this. It does not attach or anything. It's just a way to cut your yarn. So what I had was 2 hooks, and you can see they fit into something, but it didn't come with it. I thought, why would they not come with it? Well, I figured out why, because you don't want a base or a handle or a grip every time you order this. So you can buy them in pairs of sizes. Well, I'm pretty sure without looking, I bought a 3.5 and a 4 millimeter. It's written here on the side. Can you read that? Yeah, that's the 4. See that? It's a 4 millimeter. And the other one, Oh, it's a 3.75. I don't think you can read it. No, no, light's too bright for you to read it. So I was kind of disappointed, but I thought, oh, well, I'll have to go back sometime and look for the handles and find out if I like this or I don't like it. At the moment, I wasn't very happy. Well, I was making an order of, I think it was the Colorama. I found out that the Colorama, which I had been wanting for a while, was only available in the US last year, and I was really disappointed. Well, I heard this fall that, or late summer, that you could get it in Yarnspiration, and we have a Canadian outlet of Yarnspiration, actually very close to me in Ontario. And when you made an order of $40, you could get a gift of this, or if you spent $80, you could get a more expensive gift. And so I think I just had to spend the $40. Oh, it gave you the complete set. You get 2 of these. But I spent $40, probably spent more than 40. And I was able to get this free. And this is more of the Susan Bates Twist and Lock. But you have to pay attention and pick the right size. And you can pick to have the cutter with it, or you can pick to get the handle with it. So I said, well, here I am. I'm going to get it free, and now I know how they work. So here's the handle. And this time I ordered 2 different sizes. This one, I think I got 4.5 and 5. No, this is 5 and that's 6. So there's the hook. And I do like the Susan Bates hook. I do like that inset hook. So you simply have to, it's got the marks to put this in. You put it in and then you twist it. So there's a bit of a spring in there. You can feel it. So there it is, ready to go. Now, if I were a knife grip, this is rubbery, sort of. I don't know what else you'd call it. And if I were knife grip, this would be a really, really good hook. Now, I like my hooks wider, as you know. I'm into furls, but this is furls. What I like about it, it does taper, and it fits nicely here, and then it tapers again. This, now I haven't used it. This seems wider, might be about the same, but it's the shaft. So where I rest it here, and then I have this tapered shaft. This is still pretty thick, and you have all of this where you want your fingers to be doing something. So I guess I need to try it out to see how I like working with it, but my gut reaction is that I don't think I'm going to enjoy it. Oh, that's interesting. It has oh, I see. This little cutter, see, it has the little edges, and it fits into this other end. Well, I just figured that out now. So you would have the cutter right handy, because you can, let me demonstrate, might as well. You can take this with the little, and put it in the other end and turn it. All right, so you do have the cutter real handy there to cut your wool off when you're changing yarn. And there is the hook. So the first thing I did want to caution you is, if you were ordering it, because I do have them on Amazon, be sure to check what you're ordering. See, this says on here, I didn't see it, handle sold separately. So you can buy it with 2 hooks and a cutter, and you can get 2 sizes you want. Or you can order 2 hooks with the handle. So make sure that you're ordering the right thing. Now, and I'll show you how it comes out. You just push and twist, and out it comes. as easy as that. So that's not a problem. They, and you know, if you were traveling, I guess this would be a really good way to travel with multiple pairs of, or multiple size hooks and a cutter and a good size handle. If you like a bigger handle or you have a bigger hand, you might really like it. I'm thinking this handle is just a little bit big for my preference, but anyhow, there's, just so you know what you're getting if you've never tried it. I do like Susan Bates hook. I don't like the little wee metal things. They're too small for me, but just thought I would pass that information on. If you've ever thought of getting them, make sure you pay attention to exactly what you're ordering and don't fall into the trap I fell into. But fortunately, it worked out and I got a complete set. All right. So the last thing I want to do is do an acquisition. I don't think I've done an acquisition in a few weeks. So I just want to move these headbands out of the way and the yarn out of the way. And we will look at an acquisition. Actually, it's two acquisitions in one. Just a minute. I made a purchase from Ravenswood, and I made a second purchase from Ravenswood. So I want to show you what I got. Now, one of the ones I got, I made sure I ordered two of them. And I know all of my followers have seen this before, but I do know that I pick up new followers every so often. And some of you, I'm sure a lot of you, do not buy hand-dyed yarn or very little hand-dyed yarn. And that's why I like to show it. That way you get a chance to see it. Even if you feel you can't afford to buy it, you can pick up information and decide maybe down the line to buy it. Well, I bought this skein of yarn from Ravenswood. Isn't that pretty? All of her yarn that I buy fingering. She does have DK and she does have worsted, but all of her yarn is the same base. It is, in this case, 85% merino. Yeah, 85 merino, 15 nylon. And if you've been here at all, you know that this is probably my #1 Canadian dyer. I love her yarn because it's just merino nylon, but it feels as soft as some people put cashmere in it, and the cashmere doesn't feel any better than her yarn. It has a bit of it just, I don't know what it is, whether it feels like cashmere or silk or what, but it is one of the nicest feeling yarns that I purchase. There are others with the same nice feel, but I love hers. And of course, I buy colors that I like. But anyway, this is one of the skeins I bought, and the color on this is hydrangea. And I bought two of them to make sure I had enough, because I decided that I probably wanted to make a shawl out of this, and I wanted it just this color. I may change my mind when the time comes, but I wanted this color. So I have a second one. She sends all of her yarn like this, and I can order one or I can order 5. Every single one will come like this in a single package. You could put 2 in a package, but she sends each one separate. And in Canada, no shipping at all. I only have to order one, and I get it like this, no shipping. So I'm not going to open this one right away, but I will open another one just for those of you that have actually never seen this happen. I also ordered this, I don't know which came in the second order. I ordered one and then I ordered another. So here it is, flat as a pancake almost. She also, I think you saw me open another company and I had difficulty. notice that from the seal to the yarn, there's always a good size space. So I cut off the top, and you can feel it plumping up as soon as I cut it off, and shake it out a bit. She has it tied, so I just look for her tag, and that's one of the ties, and I just fluff it up a bit, and there, isn't that pretty? Oh, there's hints of purple in there as well. And this one, same base, is called Winter is Coming. It feels a bit damp. I don't know if that's because it sat in the cold, or maybe it was damp when she packaged it up, or is it just cold? Anyhow, there is, and you should really unpack them. They say it's not good to leave them in the shrink wrap. So that's another one I got from her. And then there's this one. This one is kind of in between the two I've showed you already. Yeah, this one doesn't feel like the other one. The other one I think was damp when she put it in the package. So again, I've cut it open. Look for the tag. This one smells different, almost musty. And then oh, look at the nice dark colors in there. And this one is called Night Magic. Pretty. I'm glad I opened them up, and I think I'll open up that other one too. I don't think it's good to keep them in those packages. But look at the deep, rich colors. Isn't that pretty? And then the other one is open because I really, really wanted to see this one, because it was a color that is so out of my usual color wheel. I had to see it. So here it is. Here's the other one I got. Look at that. It's peachy, and it's got some mint green in it. There's some mint green and a little bit of brown taupe. I just thought, wow, that's really nice, and it's different. Now, I haven't picked out a pattern yet, but I know that I only got one of this, and I know I want to put it with something else. So I went looking through what color would be good to put with it. I definitely wouldn't have anything that would match this color. Chocolate brown was too dark. And then I found this brown. And I actually have 3 cakes of it. I don't know why I got so much of it. I've had it for quite a while. And doesn't that look wonderful with it? How can I show it? There. I think they're going to be great together. I am really looking forward to putting these two together. I think the colors are perfect for each other. And I have a number of patterns that take 2 colors to make a shawl. And I think I know which one I'm going to use, but again, by the time I get around to it, I could change my mind. But that is my Ravenswood purchase. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 skeins in 2 different purchases. And so now we have to take a break again. You did see I've received 2 of my Advent calendars, and I got notification from, maybe I told you last week, Borealis, that theirs is in the mail, and they're out west. So any day now I expect to receive their Advent calendar. And I've got notification from the 4th company. It's Tangled Poets is the hand-dyed yarn, but it's carried by Aberdeen Aberdeen Wools, and they're in Northern Ontario. They're maybe 5 hours drive from me, and I ordered my last Advent kit from them, and I got notification that they're getting ready to mail them, and they will be in the mail by, I think they said the 10th of November. That's the end of this week, right? And so where they're coming from, I may have them in a week's time. Probably, though, I won't have them in time for next week's video. I'll have to do it the video after. But December's getting close, and I can hardly wait to open these various Advent calendars. And I know that a number of you are looking forward to that as well. So for next week, I will have added more to this, and maybe I'll show you, maybe I won't. I will definitely have finished the, no, I will have finished the shawl I am working on now. I'll finish that in the next day or two. And I will have some more headbands to show you and talk a little bit about the craft show that I'm going to be in. So that's all I have for today. And until next week, happy hooking.